Okay, so I can't believe I didn't notice this a couple days ago when it came out, but Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham have been sending out some letters from the Senate Judiciary Committee concerning the dossier and Russian collusion. Now, this is crucial because the FBI was relying partially on the dossier to gain the FISA warrant, allowing them to spy on the Trump campaign. These letters were sent out to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Donna Brazile, Tom Perez, who's the current DNC chair, Joel Benison, the chief strategist for the Clinton campaign, and the one I'm really interested in, John Podesta. These are official government documents, and all the links will be in the description if you want to follow along while I read through this. And after looking at these, they're all roughly the same. The only minor differences are in the wording due to someone's role in everything. And in Tom Perez and John Podesta's, there's the addition of Perkins Coie as the place that the letter's supposed to be delivered to. Now, it's specifically addressed to Mark E. Elias, who's the lawyer for Tom Perez and John Podesta. He's also the general counsel for the HFA. So, let's take a look at some of these documents. First, let me show you here. We have Benison, Brazile, Perez, Wasserman Schultz, and Mr. Pizza. So let's start going through this. Now, this first paragraph is talking about how it was reported that Hillary for America and the DNC had funded the dossier's creation, which was heavily dependent on the Russian government sources. Perkins Coie engaged Fusion GPS in April of 2016 to assist the DNC and HFA. The second paragraph mentions the Senate Judiciary Committee has a constitutional duty to conduct oversight of the FBI and the broader Department of Justice. That includes making sure law officials don't have improper political influences. The scope of their investigation includes the extent to which the FBI may have relied on information relayed by Mr. Christopher Steele in seeking judicial authorization for the surveillance of individuals associated with Mr. Trump. It also includes whether any applications that may have been made for permission for such surveillance fully and accurately disclosed, the source of Fusion GPS's and Mr. Steele's funding, the degree to which claims were or were not verified, the motivations of Mr. Steele, his clients, and his sources, and representations about their contacts with the press. Because remember, there were a lot of mainstream media faux journalists that were bought. Okay, then they have to answer these questions down here. The first is asking if the person, in this case, this is John Podesta's, if they knew that the Clinton campaign was funding Christopher Steele to distribute lies about Trump and the Russian government. John Podesta, keep in mind, was heavily involved with the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton campaign, the Hillary Victory Fund, and so many others, but those are just specifically the ones I can think of tied to Hillary. Okay, second question. Did you or anyone else at Hillary for America receive copies of any of the memoranda comprising Mr. Steele's dossier prior to its publication by BuzzFeed in January of 2017? Okay, just going by what I know about Podesta, he knew what Hillary knew. The third and fourth questions just ask if the HFA received any part of the dossier prior to BuzzFeed publishing it, and likewise if they received any part of the dossier not published by BuzzFeed. This one I really don't know. I thought I remembered hearing somewhere that there were multiple drafts of this dossier that were considered, but I couldn't find a source for that, so I'm just going from memory there. The fifth question asks if the person in question distributed any dossier memorandum outside of the organization. I would say yes, but unless someone swiped the dossier for their personal use, I don't think it'd be going to anyone who didn't already have access to it, especially because Fusion GPS was handling and distributing the dossier along with John McCain and James Comey and Bannon's conservative watchdog group that aimed to smear Trump in 2016. Okay, moving on. Here in number 6, they're moving outside the realm of the HFA and the certain dossier loop to ask if there were any government officials in any of the 3 branches that had knowledge of the dossier content or information from Mr. Steele. Yes, John McCain, James Comey, the top people in the FBI in general, The list is rather long, but there isn't definitive information I could find on many people, so I don't want to go speculating on a charge as serious as contributing and or colluding on this dossier. So moving on, we're I guess kind of almost done here. Number 7 asks, did you or anyone else at Hillary for America instruct, request, suggest, or imply that any individual should pass along information to Mr. Steele or his intermediaries? Yes. The answer here is yes, even though it could be contacts through Fusion GPS. Maybe they were smart enough to not directly contact Christopher Steele, but if you look here at this bit from January 5th of this year, you'll see Graham and Grassley said that they've reviewed how Mr. Steele conducted himself in distributing information contained in the dossier and how the DOJ completely ignored so many stop signs in their use of the dossier. This is important because here, back on the 5th of January, Grassley and Graham are saying they know how Mr. Steele handled the dossier, and if he contacted anyone, they know, okay? That's the thing about most of these questions. They already know what the answer should be. I just hope that John, Debbie, and Tom and the rest don't know that. Then they get caught in a lie or they incriminate themselves. Either way, it's a win-win. So moving on with this, number 8 asks if they communicated with any members of the press. Again, it would be through Fusion GPS or the people shopping the dossier around. Number 9, did you or anyone else inform Hillary about the actions of Mr. Steele's efforts or allegations? Hillary knew. I'm not exactly sure how much communication there was in the HFA or how many people talked to Hillary about it, but I'm sure she knew 100%. Her campaign paid for part of the dossier. Moving on, number 10, we see they're asking if anyone in Hillary's campaign knew about Steele contacting the FBI. I'm not really sure here, and I think that the FBI texts that went missing might have something to do with this dossier. These missing texts were from around the time that the dossier was being processed. So, number 11, they're asking if anyone encouraged, either directly or indirectly, for Mr. Steele to contact the FBI or other government agencies. The answer here is also yes. He was paid by them. They influenced what he did. They influenced how he handled the dossier. The HFA knew about it. And then number 12 is just saying to provide all communications between March 2016 and January 2017 of the following people and places. Some interesting names that jump off the page to me are Fusion GPS, Nellie Orr, who worked for Fusion GPS, and her husband, Bruce Orr, who was demoted within the DOJ for his contact with Fusion GPS. Christopher Steele, of course. And now we get into the meaty names here. We have Peter Strzok, that guy whose texts were leaked, and he was on Mueller's special counsel, and then he got demoted after the texts leaked. Then there's Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director of the FBI. We have Sally Yates, U.S. Attorney, and then she became the U.S. Deputy Attorney General, both times appointed by Obama. There's Loretta Lynch, who I've talked extensively about in her role with the dossier, the FBI, the HFA, the FISA memo, everything. Hillary's emails. Just watch my Uranium One videos and it'll make sense. Then we also have John Brennan, Director of the CIA. The thing is, I don't think there's any reason for the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee to be asking if there was any contacts with any of these people or companies if they didn't have evidence that was actionable on these entities. Otherwise, why would a connection matter? Why ask something that would lead you nowhere? This entire report has the overtone of, we know what you did, and we're just asking because it's procedure. I wouldn't be surprised if that list of people at the end served two purposes. One, to actually see if they'll produce information, the people being questioned will actually produce this information. And two, to let them know that these names aren't insignificant and to let them kind of know how much that the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee knows. My faith in this investigation and the hope of seeing huge names go down gets better every day. I heard that the IG report was going to be released in January, but that was before Trump signed the executive order. Remember? That's still relevant, very relevant. And that'll come out with the Inspector General report. But I had a feeling, being that close to January, because he signed it December 21st, I believe, it would push the IG report back a little bit. I wasn't hoping it would go back as far as April, but hey, Horowitz needs his time to gather everything together.
Adam Schiff panicking now over the release the memo hashtag going off the rails with an insane demand of Twitter. Christina Lalia for the Gateway Pundit reports, look at those eyes, first of all. This guy is totally insane. I mean, liberalism is a mental disorder, so I guess it's, that's just the look they give you. Christina Lalia for the Gateway Pundit reports that last week, the House Intelligence Committee quietly voted to make available a fellow House member a memo documenting the abuse of the FISA program, according to Fox News' Chad Pergram. Now, news of the FISA memo spread like wildfire on social media. Trump supporters pushed the Release the Memo campaign hashtag. We did it here. We pushed it hard last week. And this is all after GOP representatives came forward demanding that the document be released to the American public. And they deserve to see it. Now, the ranking House member, Intelligence Committee member Adam Schiff, well, now he's in full-blown panic mode as the release of the FISA memo is on the horizon. Schiff, he's in the middle of the corruption. As a ranking House Committee member, he has fiercely worked to block Chairman Nunes from exposing the illegal unmasking and FISA abuse that took place during the 2016 presidential election. This guy right here, he is the gatekeeper. Okay? He is the gatekeeper. Adam Schiff and, of course, Senator Feinstein are now urging Twitter. Can you believe that? They're urging Twitter and Facebook to conduct a thorough forensic examination into the Release the Memo campaign, the hashtag campaign, as potentially an ongoing attack by the Kremlin. Oh, yes, it's back to the Russians. It's always the Russians behind every single move. Oh, if the Democrats are going to get exposed, it's the Russians pushing it, right? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the American people are just so fed up with your crap. We're so fed up with all the lies you're pushing on the American people. We're so fed up with your policies of destruction of our republic that we're actually activated. We're actually doing something. We're fighting back for the restoration of this nation. What do? You keep selling us out. You don't want a wall. You want to bring in you want to open up the borders to every person. You don't care. All you care about is power and money and your lobbyists and your phony ass policies, scaring the American people into thinking that, yeah, global warming is happening and we all need to change our toilet bowls every. Shut up. Just shut up with all your crap, all your Democrat crap. Anyway, I'm totally digressing here. Let's get back on track. Yeah. So this whole hashtag campaign was all really spurred on by Russian bots. Unbelievable. This is peak desperation. This is the heightened psychosis of their mental disorder. They write that Adam Schiff and the Democrats do not want this 4-page memo to be released to the public. Two high-ranking California Democrats, they sent a letter to Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg urging they investigate the social media accounts. Yeah, they actually did this. Can you believe it? ABC News reports Senator Feinstein and Schiff urged Facebook and Twitter to investigate involvement of Russian bots pushing release the memo campaign. If these reports are accurate, we are witnessing an ongoing attack by the Russian government through Kremlin-linked-based social media actors. I got an idea. Really? How about you just go to war with them? I mean, if we're under attack by the Kremlin, let's just go to war. How about we invade them? How about we go find their little computer, We find Mikhail sitting in a coffee shop hitting retweet. Is that really what it is? Give me a frickin' break, Schiff, Feinstein, bunch of freaks. What else we got here? This is the, okay, so you can see there, that's the actual letter signed by both of them, the lunatics. Right here, it turns out that Adam Schiff's office was inundated with phone calls from citizens confirming that they're not Russian bots. How funny is that? Adam Schiff's office now hanging up on citizens calling and saying they're not Russian bots. I love it. Oh, this is the greatest day ever. Okay. Adam Schiff's DC number, 202-225-4716. I actually got a live person. He wasn't too happy with my message, and he hung up. QAnon. Call Feinstein. Tell her you're not a bot. 415-393-0707. Leave a voicemail. Thanks. I think we should join in on that. If you haven't done so yet, do that. You can call Feinstein, or Schiff. What else we got here? Another one? I've called everyone. Got a side to answer. They ask you for a name and zip code, but they tell them the memo is an American issue, not a Burbank issue. My husband just got through to Schiff's office. Told him censorship is communism. That he was an American citizen and didn't eat borscht and drink vodka. We the people want the memo. Schiff is a mental case and should resign. You know what? I agree with that 100%. Americans, yes, we are the greatest people, especially the ones like those who called into the office and pointed out the BS of the public servants like Feinstein and Schiff.